I could tell you a lot of stories from trips this summer, but as we heard in the call of Samuel, our young voices have more to teach us, even younger than I am, to how God is working and speaking and moving in our congregation and in this world. And so as we begin this new sermon series, a series highlighting the power of our young people, we're going to begin with hearing from them. So you will hear from 5 young people today, 3 of whom attended Pilgrimage, the 3 days in DC, and then 2 from Appalachia Service Project. And again, I am grateful for their yes to share. I know for many of them, this is far outside of their comfort zones. And so I'm grateful for the ways that God is working and moving and speaking through them. So Emily is going to start us off this morning.
Hi, I'm Emily. This is my senior year in the youth, and I went on the DC pilgrimage trip. It was actually my first year going, because it used to not be open to high schoolers, and I wasn't that much involved with the youth in my middle school years. But I'm glad I did, because it was a very eye-opening experience for me. And if we're going to talk about it, I would say my favorite part was listening to these 2 past homeless people. They came into the place we were staying, and they told us their stories. And one of the guys, he became homeless just from going broke. He thought he was ready for life, but he ended up not being. And this other girl who spoke to us, she just got into drugs, and family didn't really approve of that. So then when the stories kept going and they told us about it, they picked up because they told us how they got back on their feet and what their lives are like now. And I found those stories to be very touching, and I felt generally proud of them for getting to where they are now. It was very touching. Where was I? Oh, after after they told us about their stories, we were in DC, so we walked around DuPont Circle, and surprisingly, there's a lot of homeless people around there. There's this huge fountain, and then benches surround it, and I could honestly tell you there was probably 2 homeless people to every bench. But Chelsea gave us these water bottles, and we had bags, plastic bags that we filled with water bottles and washcloths and stuff, and we went around and we handed it to them, and their faces would just brighten up, and they would tell us how thankful they were, and people were coming over asking us if we had any more water bottles, and they just told us about their day. I talked to this one guy about Amazon and how much we love Amazon and stuff. It was really funny. They're the nicest people you've ever met. Honestly, they probably have as much manners as anybody else, which this is gonna sound bad, but I found shocking because we grow up thinking don't talk to homeless people, don't make eye contact and they won't talk to you. But they're very friendly people, and it was very nice learning to talk to them. But doing the community service wasn't the only fun part of our trip. Chelsea over here came into our room one night. Yeah, I'm gonna call you out, Chelsea. We were all the girls, it was Julia and Olivia and Emily and I, we were all in the room and we were just talking. And Chelsea gave us a lights out, it's time to go to bed. But we kept telling her we weren't tired. So she was all right, I'll tell you guys a bedtime story. And this story was not your classic children's tale, learning to love. No, it wasn't bad. But it was just she totally, I don't even know, what was in your mind, Chelsea? It was so crazy and random and hilarious. It did not make us go to bed. It really honestly woke us up. We were laughing so hard in bed. And then I had to leave early the next day because I had something to do. But I told Emily Benlin to FaceTime me so I could hear the rest of the story because Chelsea made it a 2-parter. I really wanted to know what was gonna happen. Anyways, yeah, it was a fun trip, and I love going not only because they are so insightful, and honestly, they help me become who I am today and what I've learned, but also it's just great memories that I've made with the youth and our leaders. It was fun. Thank you.
One of my favorite parts of the pilgrimage was also the Ziploc bag thing. And so the first couple of people we ran into were all in one group, and they were literally right outside of the church, and they all treated us like they had known us for a long time, even though it had only been 5 minutes. And one of them actually sang to me. And they kept on talking to the guy who was running it, who had also experienced homelessness, comparing him to celebrities. And they all kind of made us feel like family, and like we knew each other. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Good morning. My name is Brett Padfield, and I'm going into the 7th grade. This was my first time going to the pilgrimage in DC, and I had a good time and learned a lot. We did a lot of community work, but I really like handing out the care packages to the homeless. When we did that, I saw a chess game going on, and I started watching it. I saw a couple of moves take place, and I smiled. The man asked if I played, and I said yes. Then he asked me to play with him, and I hesitated a little, but I finally gave in. I was nervous because I hadn't played for a while. The man was polite and was nice to me even when I made an obvious mistake. I really liked playing with him because he taught me how to be a better chess player, and I had a fun time that weekend, and I look forward to going back next year. Thank you.
All right, good morning. All right, about a month ago, a group of youth, along with some amazing adults, went to Kentucky for a fun-filled week at ASP. At our site, there was a life-changing transformation for the owners and us. Before ASP got there, it was more of a shelter, and after it now has sturdy walls and floors and roofing. The last week of ASP was fortunately the week we were there, which meant we had 3 teams on one site. They mixed the 2 churches up when doing different projects around the house. By doing that, strong friendships were bonded, and I'm so grateful that I got the opportunity to learn how to tile, build a deck, and install underpinning. Yeah.
Hi. Just give me a second. Good morning. My name is Chantal Greaves, and I'm going to be a sophomore next year. This summer was the first time that I got to go on ASP. For the last few years, I'd seen my brother and my sister and my dad go off to the trip, and I was sitting in the house by myself for a week wishing I was there, and this year I finally got to go. So when we got to Kentucky, we introduced ourselves to the other groups, and we started to learn more about what was going to go on. And the staff members started telling us about something called a God moment, which was a moment during the week when we felt like we were really feeling God and His presence. So throughout the week, I was kind of scared because I was saying, is this my God moment? Maybe this is my God moment. Towards the end of the week, I was thinking maybe I wouldn't have a God moment at all. And then something happened on the last day. Our homeowners, we had a very interesting sight. There were a lot of young kids, a lot of dogs, and a lot of chickens. But the most interesting part of the site was that it was right next to a mountain. There was a mountain they were kind of in a valley, so there was a mountain right next to their house. But at the last day, our homeowner's son took us to the top of the mountain, and we got to see the view, and it was very beautiful. We could see all the trees, and it was just beautiful. But the best part of that was there were so many flowers. There were flowers all around the mountain, and when I was coming back down, I started picking a bouquet of the flowers. And at first, it was just a few, but then it turned into a big bouquet, and I put the flowers in a bottle. It was a soda bottle called Ale 8. It's kind of a staple of Kentucky. Everyone drinks it, but I was really happy about it, and everyone was taking pictures of it. They said it was beautiful, and I was kind of thinking about how much I wanted to keep it for myself, to put it on my vanity. But then I realized that it wasn't about me, and that it was about the people there, and we were there to serve them. So on the last day, I gave it to the homeowner, a man and his wife. I gave it to the wife, and she put it on her vanity, and I just thought it was so special that even though I had a fun time, it was really about them, and the look on her face and how I saw how grateful she was for everything that we did for them, not only for just the bouquet, but for everything. It made me realize that everything we were doing for them was just so special, and it made me feel special. So that was my God moment. Okay. Yeah.
As Chantal said, that she was having difficulty throughout the week figuring out what her God moment it was. I can tell all of you that I had more God moments than I could count with these youth this summer. And I'm just so grateful, again, for their yes to serve and their yes to listen to random bedtime stories and their yes to just be with one another and to truly share God's love with one another and with all who are around. And I think if any of you have spent any amount of time with these youth and with the adults who I'm so grateful for their help and support on these weeks, you will also have seen God in them. And so thank you all for sharing and for just exuding the light of Christ in all that you do.